In this recording, I'm going to discuss not-for-profit organization chapter 6 from your grade 11 textbook. So I'll be starting directly with activity 2. So if you see activity 2, they have given a balance 78,300, but that balance is incorrect. So you have to correct it. And the physical available cash, that means the correct balance should be 26,900. So now let's see what are the errors that have occurred in this question. So if you take the debit side, the subscription fees is correct, but purchase of sports equipment should come to the credit side because it's a cash payment. Salaries and wages is correct because it's an expense. Donation received is a cash receipt. So this is incorrect. Also, sale of flags is a cash receipt. So it should come to the debit side. Refreshment expense, stationery, all those are expenses. Purchase of equipment, printing charges, miscellaneous expenses, maintenance of ground, fees for umpiring, all those are expenses. So here there are three errors. What are those three errors? The purchase of sports equipment should come to the credit side because it's a payment. Donation received and sale of flags should come to the debit side because it is a cash receipt. So now I will show the answer. So this is the answer. Finally, you will end up with 26,900. Then if you take activity 3, you have been asked to prepare a cash receipt or payment journal. Now here there are 450 members and the subscription fees per member is rupees 100. The question says 15 members have not paid. Now you know that in a not-for-profit organization, we have receipt and payment account and income statement. If you take the receipt and payment account, only the amount received in cash or amount paid we should record. But in the income statement, the whole amount relevant for the year, whether received or not, should be recorded. So that is to be remembered. It's better to note it down in a receipt and payment account. The amount paid or received in cash only is recorded, but in an income statement, amount relevant for the year, whether received or not, whether paid or not, should be recorded as per the accrual concept. Now here, if you see, there are 450 members. From these 450 members, 15 have not paid. It means only 435 members have paid, right? So if I go to the answer, here you can see 450 members, 15 have not paid. It means 435 only have paid. So this 435 only should go to the receipt and payment account. But whether it's paid or not, the whole amount, that means all the 450 members subscription fee should be recorded in the income statement. So here if you see 435 into 100, it will be 43,500. So this value should go to the receipt and payment account. See, 43,500. Then purchase of stationery should be credited because it's a expense. Expense for internet facilities. It's a payment. Income from selling magazine. So this is payment. This is payment. This is receipt. This is a payment. Transport expense is a payment. Printing expenses is a payment. And receipts of donation also is a receipt, right? So then you have to respectively record those in the debit side and credit side. And another thing to be remembered is purchase of stationery, even though it is recorded in the cash receipt and payment journal, it should not be recorded in the income statement, because in the income statement we record only income and expenses. So purchase of stationery is a asset, right? But here it is a payment. Therefore, we can record it in the credit side. In the income statement, we are not recording purchase of stationery. Then if we move to activity 4, here what you have to do, now if you see here, subscription fees, 1 time, 2 time, 3, 4, 5, 6. So more than 6 times subscription fees is recorded. So what you have to do, you have to add all together, all this amount together and enter only one amount. Similarly for electricity. So if you see, there are many electricity expenses here. So we have to add up all the similar income and expenses and enter only one value. Like this. So this is the answer for activity 3 and this is the answer for activity 4. Then if we move forward for activity 5, this question is from subscription. So this sports society has 120 members and the annual membership fees per member is 350. 15 members have not paid the subscription fee. Calculate the subscription fee received for the year. Okay, so how to calculate the subscription fees received for the year? We have 120 members. From that, 15 have not paid. It means only 105 members have paid. So how to find the subscription for the year? 105 into 350. How much is the accrued membership? So 15 haven't paid. 15 into 350. And calculate the subscription for the year. So you can add both these together to get the subscription for the year. So this is the answer. Then if we move to activity 6, so here they ask to prepare the income statement. So normally in a question like this, first of all, we should start from the additional information. So there is a shortcut. So building rent payable. If something is payable, remember you have to add it. If there is a rent, something is in advance, you have to deduct it. If something is prepaid, again you have to deduct it. And if something is there as receivable, you have to add it, right? So as a summary, accrued expenses or payable expenses, you have to add in the income statement. Received in advance, so normally we received in advance income. Income received in advance, you have to deduct. Prepaid, normally expenses are prepaid. Prepaid expenses should be deducted and receivable income should be added. So this is the shortcut. Now here, building rent payable 400. Now in the receipt and payment account, you have a rent of 1,600. So as per the shortcut, rent payable should be added. So 1,600 plus 400, you can see on the expenses, building rent is 2,000. Then building rent received in advance 200. So advance I said you have to deduct. Here building rent in the receipt and payment is 9,370. So 9,370 minus 200, you will get 9,170 because it is paid in advance. So you have to subtract. The club has equipment amounting 8,000 which need to be depreciated. So you know straight line depreciation method, right? You have to calculate the answer. You will end up with equipment depreciation 400. So within bracket, it's better always to show the working. And the last one, prepaid printing expense is 600. So here in the credit side, you can see printing expenses 6,100. So prepaid should be deducted. So 6,100 minus 600, 5,500. Then you have to record the remaining balances. Now here it says membership is received is this month. We should check whether this is the amount relevant for the year. Now we have 30 members, 30 into 300. 3 times 3. So the amount relevant for the year is only 9,000. Therefore, we can record only 9,000 in the income, not 12,000, because 12,000 is the amount received in cash. We can record only 9,000. How this 9,000 came? 300 into 30. Then sale of magazine, there is no additional information. It is a income. Telephone expenses is a expense. Building rent we have already recorded. Refreshment expense and equipment maintenance are expenses. Stationery is a expense. Transport expenses is a expense. Printing expenses we have already recorded. So then you can take the surplus or deficit. Add the income, from that deduct the expenses, you can get the surplus. So if the income is higher than expense, you will end up with a surplus. But if the expenses are higher than income, you will end up with a deficit. Then if you take activity 7, you are asked to prepare book. So this is the answer for activity 7. I'll be discussing only the adjustments of the income statement. So number of members are 400. Membership fees per member is 200. So what you have to do, record the amount relevant for the year. 400 into 200, it will be 80,000. Telephone charges 600 and refreshment expense 1,500 have to be paid. What is mean by have to be paid? Accrued. It means you have to add. So telephone charges here is 7,500. So 7,500 plus 600, it will be 8,100. And refreshment expenses is 1,100. Here in the details given, it is 2,000. So 2,000 plus 1,500, it will be 3,500. The rent payment includes 5,000 paid for the next year. So this is the advance. Advance should be deducted. So therefore, here in the details given, building rent is 30,000. So 30,000 minus 5,000, you will end up with 25,000. The book value of non-current asset is 24,500 equipment, 7,125 furniture. So here, if you see in the details given, furniture is 7,000 at the beginning of the year, but at the end of the year, it has become 7,125. So the difference between that two is the depreciation. Similarly for the equipment. So equipment at the beginning of the year, it is, as per the question, 25,000. End of the year, it has become 24,500. So the gap is depreciation. The gap is depreciation. So this is the answer for activity 7. And similarly, you can prepare the cash receipt and payment account. So here there is a small note where purchase of equipment, purchase of furniture, purchase of building are not recorded in the income statement, but the depreciation should be calculated. However, this is recorded in the cash receipt and payment journal. Then if you come to activity 8, so there also I'll be discussing only the additional information in activity 8. The first adjustment, annual per membership fees is 400. 12 members have not yet paid their subscription fees. Now here how to find the total subscription fees. Subscription fees received is this much. So 12 members have not paid. What you can do, if per member fees is 400, so 12 into 400, you will end up with 4,800. So 4,800 plus amount received, which is 12,870, you can get the total amount for the year. The value of sports equipment at the beginning of the period was 64,200 and at the end of the period it is 58,800. So the difference is depreciation. Tax and rates payable is 800. So you can see in the question rates are 6,600. So you know payable should be added. So 6,600 plus 800, 7,400. Income received in advance for the sport ground is 2,500. So here renting of ground, it is 22,500. So from the advance can be deducted. So 22,500 minus 2,500, it will be 20,000.